And a good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Issues and Attitudes. My name is Jeff Owens, General Manager, WEIU TV and FM. My co-host is Tristan Thomas.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Breaking news from Tristan here before the show's out. And our guest today is the new EIU Campus Police Chief, Marisol Gamboa.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
I'm going to have you pull that microphone a little bit close to you. So thanks for coming in today.
Thank you for inviting me.
And you just started this semester here at Eastern.
Yes, sir, I did. I started January 4th.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your background, and we'll start with that.
Sure. I started the criminal justice field in 2001. I was employed with the city of Freeport in 2002, November. I started as a patrol officer there, and I moved my way up to a patrol sergeant around 2006. And then from there, I promoted to the lieutenant for the city. Then I was offered an opportunity with San Jacinto Community College as the administrative lieutenant there in 2013. So in 2013, April 14th, 2013, I took the position that they offered me, and I was there till I came over here in January.
When you were there, did that kind of make you think that education or being around a college campus is something you wanted to do?
Yes, it did. Yeah, I saw both sides, law enforcement, the municipality side, and the higher institution side, and I prefer to work in the higher institution side.
Okay. Then I guess why Eastern Illinois University? I mean, when you were looking around, did it just pop out, or did you contacts or anything?
No, sir. I wasn't looking to leave San Jacinto College. I was very happy there. I enjoyed working with everyone there. They were very, they encouraged the police department to collaborate with the community there. We hosted a lot of community policing events. So this actually came out of nowhere, actually. I was contacted by a retired chief of police from Montana. I didn't answer my phone call the first time because, it's just out of state. I was like, well, I don't know who that is. So I let it go to voicemail. I eventually did listen to the voicemail, and I returned his phone call. Had no interest in moving out of state. I was born and raised in Texas, so I had no interest in leaving. But after talking to him, going through the several interviews, having an opportunity to change, to be part of change for EIU, so that's really what drove me to come here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so my first question is just why law enforcement?
Law enforcement? Well, it's not in my family. I'm the first one in my family born in the United States that was part of law enforcement, so I kind of set that off for everybody. I wanted something that was a solid career for my family. I was a single mother, so I needed something to provide for my two girls, and that was going to be a good foundation for them, and it's going to give them an opportunity to see the career growth and maybe in the future themselves get into law enforcement.
Okay. When you talk about you being the chief here, can you describe your leadership style and kind of your way that you manage your staff?
So I lead by example. That's my leadership style. If I'm not going to be out there, if I'm not willing to do something, I'm not going to put my people to go out there and do it. My philosophy is community policing oriented. I'm focused on the community that I am hired to provide the safety issues for, or safety protocols for. So that's where I'm leading my team to. And so I'm out there in the community anytime somebody asks me to come do an interview, or hey, can you please be part of this event, or can you be a panelist, or I'm willing to go out there because I want my team to see that I'm willing to go out there as well.
How is community engagement important in the specifics of your job? Like how does that help you do what you do?
Well, it builds trust with the community. So their trust within the police department helps our job become a lot easier. They're more willing to come tell us or point out safety issues, point out crimes, or just get advice from the officers.
When you're an EIU campus police chief, obviously there's a Charleston police, there's a sheriff, there's Mattoon police, there's a lot of different police departments in Coles County, which I think is a good thing for the safety. But obviously you have to be involved somehow with all of them. Can you go through a little bit of what you do with the other various departments?
So I've met with Charleston Police Department. I've met several of the chiefs in this area. They're all very welcoming, very, very eager to help. I'm part of the CCOM board, or the 911 CCOM board. So there we collaborate on how what is in the best interest for our community here as far as the 911 services. So I haven't been part of other boards with the other cities or with the other chiefs yet, but that's one of the ones I am active in.
Well, you've only been here a couple of months.
Yes, sir.
The 9/11, I mean, are students on campus, should they call 9/11 in emergencies, or
Yes.
Yes.
If there's an emergency on campus, they should call 911. If it's a non-emergency situation, it's still going to be routed to CCOM, but it's going to be the non-emergency line.
Okay. How many officers work currently on for your staff?
Currently, we have
Oh, I put her on the spot, sorry.
we have 2 sergeants right now, and we have 2 officers per shift, so that's about 8 officers.
Okay. Are you
I'm
full?
sorry. Let me take that
Okay.
back. 6 officers and 2 sergeants.
Are you full then, or are you looking for other people?
No, we're not fully staffed right now. We are currently looking for a lieutenant and we're also hiring for patrol officers.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get. I just was trying to see. So there are jobs open at the campus police
Yes,
department
there
here on
is.
campus. So
Yes, and we're actually excited. On April 4th, we're going to bring aboard 2 new hires, which are not licensed yet. They're going to be going to the police academy, and 1 lateral officer who he retired from Chicago Police Department. He spent 23 years Chicago, retired, and is looking to
So we'll have
join.
2 more?
Yes.
2 more officers
3 more.
on campus. That's good. Can you talk a little bit about when you're in charge of Eastern Illinois University, I mean, do your officers mainly stay on the campus circle? Do they venture out in the community, or do they have certain things that they need to do each day, like checkpoints, or,
So we patrol EIU. That's our main responsibility, is being on campus. However, we do go out into the community if we have to. We work very closely with Charleston and Coles County, and we want to continue that relationship with them. We do have calls that we receive, like if a student or an employee needs a jump start, we'll go out and provide that service to them, or unlocking their vehicle. We take reports just like a city police department does. We can make arrests just like they can, and we conduct traffic stops.
Okay.
Yeah, I imagine your job is a lot different day to day depending on what's going on in the community. But what is, if you could give the listener just a general idea of what a normal day looks like for you, a typical day?
It hasn't been normal since I arrived here, just because we are so short-staffed. So I am down an office manager, I'm down a lieutenant, and several officers. So right now, myself and several of the employees there, or several of the team at the police department, are having to absorb some of those responsibilities. So right now, it's not a normal day-to-day. But as soon as I arrive in the office, even before then, it's nonstop, either with a phone call or reading my emails or going out into the community or engaging with other services in the community. For example, SACUS, I'm trying to become part of their, be a member of their board. So my day is ongoing till maybe 6, 7 o'clock at night.
What's the biggest issue that you see on campus, or maybe the biggest thing that the EIU Police Department gets called for?
I would say thefts. It could be thefts or lost or found property.
Okay.
Just because there's, as we go on through our day, we're on our electronic devices, and sometimes we'll set it aside, and not knowing that, okay, that device is, somebody's going to want it, and they can just take it. If you're not paying attention to your surroundings, they'll take it. We get a lot of found property. At the police department, we have a stack of found property that we're just waiting for somebody to claim it so we can hand it over to them. So,
One of guys, that's fun. I mean, I guess in a way that's good. I mean, if it's lost and found, it's better than theft or drinking or something worse than that. So I guess if you've lost some equipment, you might want to call the IU campus
Yes,
police, because
definitely.
get that word out. So Unofficial was a couple of weeks ago, and I know it made news for not being, I guess, overly rowdy. Would that be a nice assessment, or what were your thoughts of Unofficial on campus?
That was so different for me, that Unofficial. I wasn't expecting that. The institution I worked for before, we didn't have residentials or students that lived on campus. So here, the students that lived on campus were out in the city, going to different houses. And I rode with one of the officers because it was my first weekend or my first time seeing Unofficial, and that was just, I was mind blown. Like, what?
It's a different town that day, for sure.
It is, because I'm used to seeing Charleston quiet and, and eventful. And
But overall, I didn't seem like there was a lot of arrests or a lot of incidents. It was, kids being college kids, I guess, for lack of a way to better say it.
That's correct. Yeah.
But, would you be happy in that sense that there wasn't?
yes, that it was quieter. From what I've heard, it was a lot rowdier back then. And this one was a lot calmer.
Okay.
So I'm glad there was nobody that got hurt and that everyone was able to make it home safely.
There you go.
Well, I want to ask about parking tickets and parking on campus. Unfortunately, from what I've seen on Eastern's campus, there's a lot of staff parking and, in my mind, not a lot of student parking. I understand you don't make those rules. Is it just kind of a case of, hey, we just have to carry out the rules that are before us in parking, or is there maybe some leeway in issuing those tickets?
Well, there can be some leeway in issuing the citations, but I'm not sure who creates that as far as
Right.
where students can park and how many parking spots they get versus the employees how many parking spots they get. So I really have to ask somebody else about that to
Okay.
give you a good answer.
I just had to add. I know you probably couldn't give me much, but I just had to throw that out.
Yeah, we're just throwing everything at you today.
Yeah.
We're getting to know EIU Campus Police Chief Marisol Gamboa. She is brand new, started in January, and this is her first appearance on Issues and Attitudes. Real quick, let's take a break. Not take a break, but let's go over to Tristan since you're here. Tristan, why don't you break your fantastic news as a WEIU EIU student?
Okay, well, I'm proud to announce that upon graduation from Eastern Illinois University here in May, I will be moving to Minot, North Dakota to be a sports anchor reporter out there for KX News.
Yay!
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome news,
Yeah.
and we always like to, that's good. We picked a good student to be the co-host this year, and so we wish you best of luck. You still got a few more weeks left with us, and but that's great news, and you should be proud of yourself. I know you do a good job. You're working. So.
I've really worked a lot. Since coming here to Eastern, that's been the goal. 2 years, I knew I had to get in all I can, all the reporting, all the anchoring. I had to get better as the whole job, because it's more than just talking in front of a green screen about sports. You're doing 5 different jobs essentially, and so yeah, I'm super proud of that, and give all the credit to you and all of the people here at Eastern, all the staff who have guided me in that direction, and I wouldn't be there without you guys. So appreciate
Good
it.
job. You do 5 different jobs, and I think right now it looks like
That's awesome.
Marisol is as well, right over there at the EIU Campus Police Department. Obviously, policing has gotten a lot different in the last few years with everything that's gone on in our country. Can you talk a little bit about the change you're talking about and what we've seen over the last couple of years with police law enforcement?
So we've seen a lot of mistrust from the community towards law enforcement, and what I'm trying to do here is build that trust with the students and employees that we provide the services for here, and that's going to take engagement. So we're going to have to go out into our community of EIU and participate in some of these events, show the students that we're human just like they are, and show them that we are trustworthy officers. A lot, from what I'm hearing, is a lot of our students come from St. Louis and Missouri, where all the controversial situations have happened, and I want to be that person or that department that changes their view of law enforcement, sees them that they're really here for the right reasons.
Is one of the things that you want to do is I assume that your officers are approachable, but I've always heard the word approachable. Officers need to be approachable, and you want to be approachable. How should a student engage an officer if they have a question? Is there a way that you think is the best?
You should be able to walk up to them just like anybody else and just start talking to them.
That was the answer I wanted you to give, but I didn't know if there was something that was...
Unless, they're dealing with a situation and that's not the right time to approach them. For example, if they're in the middle of a traffic stop, don't go up and talk to them, because that could be a safety issue for the officers. But if they're walking through our buildings and you see them and you have a question, just ask them. Just stop them and ask them, hey, can I ask you a question?
No, that's the answer I want. I think as we educate via this show to people, one of the things that even when I was little, you weren't really taught to be afraid of police, but to respect them. But I always wondered, how do you go up to them at first? And I think if you just say, hey, Officer Gamboa, I'd like to ask you a question. Yeah. As long as you're not engaged with somebody else, it's fine to do. And that's what you want to kind of, incorporate over the next few months here at Eastern Illinois.
That's correct.
All right. Training. Do your officers, is it a continuous training, or how often, or will you send your officers away for additional training? What's the process?
I haven't looked at their training as far as what they've done here yet, but my plan is to provide them continuous training. So one thing that I'm working on, and we had at the prior institution, I was part of that as well, is to have our own in-house instructors for our police officers. That way, whenever there's not that many students on campus, we can pull our team together and train on different topics, train on policies, train on our firearms, train on our tasers, OC spray, bicycle patrol, which I know we don't have that right now, the bicycle patrol, but that's something that I would like to bring an instructor, to have an instructor for our department so that we can do that type of training
Okay.
with them.
All right.
Why bicycle patrol? What are some of the benefits in
Well,
that for you guys?
So
Gas is $5 a gallon. No.
Well,
Sorry, I
true.
interrupted.
There's one of them.
I guess that could be one, but my thought was you're going to see the officers more on campus on bicycle patrol. They're, to me, just working at a university, it's easier to get to a call on a bicycle. Now, you can cut across through the campus to respond to a call. The negative part about that is that we can't carry our other tools with us, which would be like our jump packs that have to start the vehicles, or our unlocking tools, or our AEDs that the officers have. So that would be. But of course, we wouldn't have all of them on bicycles. We would for example, this is just an example. One can be on a marked vehicle, and one can be on a bicycle. And that way, one's circling the campus or getting off at different buildings. The other one can be patrolling the area.
Does the campus police offer ride-alongs for the public and school?
We do offer ride-alongs. Right now, I haven't approved many of those just because we are so low staff right now.
Okay.
And I don't want to add more to the officers' responsibilities that they already have, because they're already having to absorb all the responsibilities for not having that additional officer.
Yeah, and we're coming off COVID, so I understand not having people in
That's
close
right.
cars as well. When you talk about like on campus, obviously as we start to open up, knock on wood, there's going to be more events, more speakers. Obviously, there's athletics. Is campus police involved in all of those things in terms of having safety officers at athletic events and when there's big speakers or concerts?
I know we participate in sporting events when a request is received, and we'll send an officer out there.
Okay. Tristan?
Yeah. So, let's say someone just wants to become a police officer. What are the requirements for that?
So if they're not a licensed police officer, they will go through the entire hiring process. For example, we have a hiring process right now. So they would have to take the knowledge test, schedule that with HR, and then they would have to go through a power test, which is a physical fitness test that includes sit-ups, the mile-and-a-half run, the bench press, sit and reach, and then after that we schedule them for the oral board. If they pass all three, then they are categorized, and I can only interview the top three on the list. So if I have 6 people, I can only interview 3 of those. And then if they're selected after a background check, if they're selected to move on, then we'll give them a conditional job offer. And then we'll make the arrangement to send them to a police academy. Mm-hmm. So the 2 that we're bringing on board will be attending SWIC, Southern Illinois.
Southwestern Illinois College, yeah.
There you go. That one.
How long is this police academies now?
That one starts in May, and I believe it ends in August.
Okay, so all summer basically.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's pretty intense. Then when you think about it, and I know Tristan asked this a little bit earlier. When did you kind of know you wanted to be a law enforcement? When you're a little girl, middle age, or was there a moment that the light went off?
Yeah, I think that was mainly when I was in high school.
High school, okay.
Yeah, that's when that and when I started college. It was in between that period.
As the boss of the campus police department, I mean, do you have goals that you set for your officers in terms of like different things you want them to do? Are you still kind of incorporating the new regime under yourself?
I'm still incorporating that.
Okay. But do you consider yourself a goal setter? Do you like your
Yes.
officers to have goals?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. No, I think that's all good. Do you have any, I'm going to ask this because I think you seem to have a great personality. Is there any funny, everybody sees the serious stuff, but is there any funny police stories that you can tell about law enforcement that, something that we can talk about?
Oh, goodness.
Put it on the spot, I know, but I love great stories.
Funny. Let me think.
Nothing comes to mind?
Nothing
That's
comes
okay.
to mind. I've had a lot of serious incidents that we've dealt with.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
nothing funny right now.
We don't want to get into that. Yeah, so I was hoping you had a funny story. You were a guy who had a pet parrot or something. I don't know, whatever. We have this vehicle with TV and radio today that we're using. If you could tell the community some things about yourself that you want to incorporate over the next how many ever months or years about yourself, use that platform right now to tell the community.
So what I want to do for the next few months or a year is for the students to get to know me, my face, that I'm here for them. So I'll be walking throughout the campus. So if they see me, I want them to feel comfortable just coming up to me and asking me questions of anything that they would like, or if they want advice in becoming a law enforcement officer, they can ask me that too, or stopping by the police department. I want them to feel comfortable with us. I want to build that trust with the community. So that's my goal, one of my goals.
Will you use social media to help a little bit too as well?
I have been using social media. I've been using Instagram and Twitter.
Okay.
Still working on Facebook. I'm not too familiar with the social media platforms, but I'm working on that.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, you mentioned some of those, just the baseline requirements for becoming a police officer. Some of the things with the controversial situations over the last few years with police, some of the solutions or the reasons people I've heard say why this is happening is there's not enough training. For your job, do you encourage more training, more maybe social skill development for your officers, or do you believe that those requirements, the baseline requirements, are enough to do the job effectively?
No, I think that the baseline requirements is a good start, but I think just enhancing our skills is necessary. So more training is always important for any field, really. So the social skills, definitely. We are our career, or at least mine. We are more of a. We tend to kind of just be in ourselves, be just with law enforcement. We need to develop those skills where we still engage with everybody else. But that was just my experience as coming up in law enforcement starting in 2002. And I really started working on my communication skills and interpersonal skills when I got into, when I started working with San Jacinto College, because I saw how important it was, and I had to get out of that, just that law enforcement mentality of just, no, it's just us.
Okay, that's a good answer. I mean, what have you learned so far at being at Easter? I mean, some of the things that you kind of like or dislike about EIU, Charleston, Coles County.
So what I like about the university, everybody's very welcoming here, very accepting. They're embracing, the police department. I hear a lot of good things, that they love our police department here. They just want to see us more out there, which that's not a bad thing. That's good. Yeah. What I like about Charleston is it's a small town. I came from a larger city, so just being in a smaller town is refreshing to me. The Lake Charleston, I was out there yesterday. It was beautiful. So I'm really enjoying being in this area.
And when you left Texas to come to the middle of Illinois, I have to ask what your friends and family said. What are you doing?
They did say that. What are you doing?
Because you have no ties here.
I have no ties here whatsoever. But you know what? I love a challenge. That's really what drives me, is, a challenge and to make a change somewhere. So I find myself, when I find that I've already accomplished everything that I needed to do in one place, it's really time to move on. And now here, this is just a complete change from getting licensed to be an Illinois police officer to a new town, a new employer. I mean, I have literally no connections here, but everybody that I've met is very nice, very welcoming, even in the community of Charleston. So I'm loving it so far.
We have a few minutes left with Police Chief Marisol Gamboa. Anything from your point of view?
Yeah, I got one more thing. Also, want to say shout out to your department. I've experienced, I had to call an officer to the rec center, and you guys were very quick response to that. How important is that quick response, and how do you kind of, being always on call, what is it like for your officers to know that, things could be going smooth, easy day, whatever, and then all of a sudden they got to jump into action? Yeah. How do you kind of navigate that?
Oh, they know. They're prepared for that. That's something that we're trained when we go to the police academy. And what's really important to me is their response, that they get there safely, just take that call, and their professionalism when they're interacting with our citizens or our members in our community. So they're prepared to, I know we're a slower police department, but mentally they are prepared to respond to emergencies.
Is there any upcoming events or things that you're going to be a part of or that you want to put on from EIU Campus Police that will, like open house or something? And can you...
So actually, I'm doing an event today, is safety tabling. I'm partnering with Rebecca Maley, and we're going to be out at the Union. We're also doing a coffee with a cop on Thursday. That should be advertised on social media as well. We are planning some more events to be out in the community. I just don't have them right now in front of me to tell you exactly which ones
That's
they were.
okay. Do you mind if we ask you some silly questions
Sure,
at the end?
go ahead.
We only do this every once in a while where we just ask like odd questions, and I'm going to let Tristan answer as well today, just because it's always fun to do that. So, do you have a secret talent? Anything that you're really good at that you can juggle or something?
That I can juggle.
I don't know. Just, do you have a secret talent?
I can somewhat sew. Is that?
No, I can't. So, secret talent?
Lifting weights. I don't know. I can deadlifted 385 the other day. So.
Oh my goodness!
You know.
No, I can't do that.
Long time ago, maybe.
No.
Did you play sports in high school? Were you
No, I didn't play sports.
Cheerleader or anything?
No, nothing.
No athletics?
No.
Yeah, I played football from 4th grade until senior year of high school. I was the starting center at Muhammad Seymour my
Center,
senior
that's
year.
amazing.
Yes. I weighed about 50 pounds more than I do right now. So.
How about a hobby? Any hobby? I know you said you were at Lake Charles. Do you have any other hobbies?
We like to bike, so we take our bicycles out. That, and I enjoy reading, so that's another hobby.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, fitness, going to the gym would be mine, but also video games. Play a lot of video games, Madden, 2K. Whenever I have free time, which depending on the day or the week, don't have a lot of that nowadays.
Yeah, you're not going to get it for a while either now that you have a job.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Favorite snack food?
Oh, Reese's.
Oh,
Do you even eat snack food, Mr. Health Nut?
Yeah, I mean, I like fruit. Favorite fruit would be.
It's not a friggin'
It's a snack. Yeah, it is.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
Strawberries.
let you have that just because you got a job and everything. Is there a food you just absolutely can't eat? Is there something that you just, no way, Marisol's not eating it?
No. I really, no.
Not even peas?
I'll eat that.
I mean, I think I've already said here before, but like cantaloupe and honeydew, like
That is-
when it comes to fruit, like no, like
Really?
like I would much rather have other fruits than those. Like those are way overrated. Like if you give like a fruit platter, get those out of here. Okay, give me anything else basically on there.
That's funny. You have a favorite building here at Eastern that you just love?
Yes,
you like-
Doudna.
Doudna, yeah.
That one is a gorgeous building.
That's my favorite looking building, but I mean favorite building to be in is obviously Buzzard Hall. I mean, I
Now,
live here.
with Doudna, there's so many different nooks and crannies. If there's a police to call there, that would be an interesting one to have to
It
go to.
would, yeah. I've taken a tour of it at Chris Mitchell.
Yeah.
He gave me a tour of that
it's a neat
facility.
place.
It was really nice.
You know, I'm going to have to ask this one. Do you have a favorite police show or movie that you think is the best?
Police show or movie? Oh my goodness.
There's only really one correct answer from the TV side. We have 10 seconds.
Cops.
That was my answer, Cops.
Cops.
Because they're both wrong. It was NYPD Blue. But that's okay.
Oh no, Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
NYPD Blue. Sorry. Well, thank you so much. It was great to meet you.
You too.
And welcome to the community. We're so glad to have you.
Thank you.
We are WEIU.